You cannot develop leaders without their team's input. I am Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I have written hundreds of articles last year for social media, which resonated greatly with the global population, from C-suite level executives all the way to line employees. So I thought, why not bring these articles and topics to YouTube? At the end of the day, not everybody likes to read, but I will put all the links below so you can read them. And I add additional articles because today's topic is leadership development. And I've been contemplating on it for so long. So my background is talent development. And leadership is so fascinating. We are so confused about it. We can't even identify what good leaders look like, which is fine. But then how do we develop them if we don't know what they should look like? And this is where we go wrong with leadership development, where we go wrong with a lot. But today I wanted to talk about specifically about the lack of input from their teams. Because it's impossible for me that if I'm your leader and I'm serving you, and my success is depending on you, then I don't ask you, how can I be a better leader to you? How can I bring the best out of you? How can I guide you better? How can I get you and coach you to the target, the goal, and where I want the organization or my department to be? Because this is what's missing. And instead, we go with random competency frameworks, which there is no scientific proof that you need to acquire or have any of those skills or competencies for you to be able to do a job very well, especially at leaders level, because those are all behavioral aspects, right? Critical thinking, business acumen, strategic approach, and all that, and leading the team, inspiring the team, motivating the team. These are not just technical competence and how you do the job. That's easy. That we need that. That is, you do that through job analysis. But for leadership, we need very different approach. And we cannot go with the random behavioral competences. This is what you need to be a good leader. Because guess what? That list doesn't exist. You know where that list comes from? From the team that the leader is leading. And we don't ask these questions, but at the same time, we are very, very quick to say that, hey, you need to be an empathetic leader. Now that also triggers every single brain cells in my head, because if we preach about empathy and leadership, which there is no direct scientific proof over, but okay, let's go with it because, then you need to certainly involve the team, because empathy is all about me putting myself in the shoes of my employees. And here I brought you a few questions that you can ask your leadership team or the teams that are developing, or you are developing the leaders. Because these are the questions I ask from leaders when I do one-to-one with them or I develop them. Because these are the questions that put them in the shoes of their employees, their teams, and then based on the answer, they can start finding out what are the areas that they need to develop in themselves, skills, knowledge, behavior, change, in order to get the best performance out of the team and to be a good leader. So, here are some of these questions that leaders fail to answer. And it's very, very interesting to me. Very, very interesting. Now, how do my employees feel about the company culture or your department, the culture? Is it toxic, relaxed, or organized? When I ask leaders, they don't really have these answers, They never put themselves in that. For example, you are a senior executive. How do you feel? What do you think? What is the experience of the person who is cleaning the corridors? For example, anyone really in the organization. And when you can't say that, it means that you are so detached from reality, because reality is on the ground, okay? And when you are detached from reality, you can't really govern and guide and coach and help those people. So what the hell are you developing yourself based on? Because what is going on wrong in here, that's very likely that it's coming from you. And you have the power and the opportunity and the capacity and capability, hopefully, to fix that. And that's why you are there as a leader. So now asking your employees, hey, how can I be a better leader to you? And based on those answers, creating your personal development plan, it's just, for me, it's just like not doing that. It just doesn't make any sense. But grabbing a random online course, oh, I want business strategic thinking or project management. Why? Just to add it to your portfolio, just to look great on LinkedIn because you have Stanford business certificate on your profile. How is that helping your employees? How is the certificate helping the organization to be better, to make more money, to be more productive, to develop a new market, to restructure, something successfully? There is no answers to these questions. Now, second question. So the first question is, how do my employees feel about the company culture or my departmental culture? Is it toxic, relaxed, or organized? Second question, do my employees like working here and with me? If yes, if the answer is yes, because leaders always say, of course, my employees love me. But then you need to probe further. Why? Why do you think that is? And if the leader said no, why? But you know what? All these questions, whatever I'm going to share with you, you can ask the leader. But before you do that, you need to ask the employees. Because then when you do that, and I do that with leaders, I conduct surveys with their employees, send it out anonymous, and you can do that as an L&D person in the organization or talent development. Send it out, ask the questions, and then you sit down with the leader and see if there is a gap. Because many times leaders are so delusional about their likability, or their capacity, their capability, their power, their influence. That is just, sometimes I sit there, I'm like, dude, you live in a different universe. How are you managing and leading this group of people when you have such a big gap of what you think you are perceived or looked at or viewed and how you are actually viewed? We need that in leadership development. And not to confront leader. We don't want to, it's not an exercise to shame you. It's an exercise to develop you because of the people, what they need from you. And guess what? When you go to another workplace, you need to do this exercise again because those people are different. They will have different needs. The environment is different. And even if you stay here, I just spoke to a HR person. She's working in the company for 17 years. I'm like, how many people come and go during the 17 years? You need to do these questions maybe twice a year and then incorporate it into your annual appraisal and into your professional development. And based on that, you select the courses, the help that you need in order to meet those needs. It's not that, I'm going to go out shop for, clothes, and then I put the clothes on and I find an event that I can attend the clothes on, with that clothes on. How does it make sense? Oh, I just have the clothes. It doesn't really matter. I just chuck it in the wardrobe because I have already so many, right? Have the purpose and link that all together. L&D, you can help your leaders. So, do my employees like working with me? And if they do, why? If they don't, why not? When I ask that question from leaders, they get very touchy. Because they like to be liked. But dude, many of them are not liked. And that's all right. Next question. Does the culture allow them to perform at their best? Does the culture allow my employees to perform at their best? Am I micromanaging, and am I supervising them too closely, too loosely? Do I know their talent? Do I actually ask about how they operate? Or I just have a one size fit approach to everyone? You need that information. Do they trust the leadership? Do they trust them to make the best decision for the business and carve out the direction forward? Now put yourself in the shoes of your employees and ask that question. Do they trust me that, that I make the best decision for them, for the department, for the organization, and I can carve the way out towards success, towards our KPIs, the goals? Because many times you find that employees will say no. And you know what? The perfect example was during COVID. Because my ex-CEO, I love him dearly, 350,000 employees, and then he showed up every single month, and he was very quick to show up when he had to shut down 5,000 plus hotels worldwide. And I fell in love with him even more because of that. And he came and he said, guys, I don't have a clue what is going to happen. I don't know what to do, but I need you to stay with me, even though a lot of layoffs happened. I don't know what is the timeline. I don't know how long we need to go on without that, or in this uncertainty. But I guarantee you, I will figure it out. And he did that. Now you can debate wrong decision, right? There were plenty of wrong and right decisions, but retrospective wisdom is kind of useless, right? Because you are in that spot. And I loved him because he asked us, he involved us. He said that I don't know what the bloody hell to do. And that's okay. And then I live in Dubai. And then we had Sheikh Mohammed and the leadership, both Sheikh Mohammeds in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai. In the presence, how they showed up with positivity, that we will take the country out of it. We will drive you guys out of it. We will move you forward, we will move out of that situation. And you know what? I said, and I was so interesting that it came out of me. I'm like, I don't know what this mess is about or what the hell is going on in the world and with governments and leaders and World Health Organizations. But I trust that Sheikh Mo will take us out of this situation. I don't know how. I don't think he knows how. But I trust that he will do what is required to be there and to do that. And that's what happened. Dubai opened up very, very quickly to the world. So this kind of approach, but he asked for feedback and they were very quick to receive feedback and improve and react to the public's feedback, because you have 85% of the country is expat. So you have expat population fired and, no visa, etc. They had to listen to us. They had to put themselves in our shoes that, hey, people are stranded. They can't even travel back to their own country. And they are relying in here. They become illegal because the visa expired, but they can't travel. So now let's look at what we can do for the millions of people who are here in this country. And they done fantastically well. Do I agree with every action? Absolutely not. But they were just like any other, much better than most countries. But let's talk about the leadership. They exactly reacted like any other leader. They didn't know what is going to happen, the uncertainty, but they asked and they looked towards their people. What do you people need? And that's why they are good leaders. Because if you are not serving your employees, don't be leader. don't be a leader, because leadership is for the very few. And I have to say that. Now, let's go back to it. So do they trust do they trust you to carve out the best way forward for the business for them? If the answer is no, we need to find out why. Do they feel respected and valued in terms of their contribution? That's a very important question for me as a leader. Because if the answer is no, what the hell am I going to do? Why not? What do I do? Always go back to yourself. What do I do that people feel about me this way? It's not that, oh, but I respect you and I showed you and I invited you to my home for Christmas dinner. Dude, that's not what I want from you. I don't want to go to anybody's Christmas dinner, okay? I want you to recognize my work and when I contribute. So ask people, don't sit down and brainstorm. What do my people want? You don't know. You were never going to know. You don't have the answer. They have the answers, right? And one more question. Are they having a good time under my leadership? I love that question. Because you can be so incompetent leader, like not knowing how to do the job. We all know those leaders. But your people love you because you are just there to please them and have fun. And I have seen leaders like that. Incompetent to a degree that they do so much damage to the organization, and their employees, the teams love them. They have a good time because what they do is, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want. There are no rules, no policies, no guideline, no structure, no discipline. Of course we love you, I can do whatever I want. This idiot is not even going to see. No, but that's not what we want. We need to make sure that the leader is competent in terms of getting the job done. And also, are they having a good time under my leadership? If they don't have a good time, what do I do? Why? And it's not a matter of, oh, but I'm a best leader. I did this for you. I did that for you. Ask your team, why are you not having a good time? And they will share information with you. Maybe they share that, you know what, it's just so difficult to be around you. It's so tense. I just tiptoe around your feelings because you are a very moody person. You lack emotional regulation, which is very often, very common in with leaders. They lack emotional regulation, and we try to teach them empathy and we try to teach them stress management, but that's not what they need. They have not learned how to regulate their emotions, and then we label them, oh, you know what, she's nice, but she's just hot-tempered. Dude, don't be, because it impacts me and I'm not enjoying spending time with you as my leader. So ask these questions. How can I be a better leader? What is it that I do? Two more questions that I like to ask in surveys. What do I do that makes me a good leader of you? And what could I do better to be even a better leader? So it's positive. Both of them are positive. We don't need to always go to negative ones, It depends also on the leader's self-esteem and ego, how much truth he can or she can take. But never develop any leader without the input of their employees. It's just a waste of money. It's just a waste of time. And that's how the structure is. So to close this video, we need to start designing leadership programs from supervisor and above that has two parts. The first part is related to their job, and make it very clear. You still have a job to do. This is the job, and these are the skills and the knowledge you need to do that job. That's the job. Separate it very clearly, because this is where people get confused. Separate it. And then this is the part where you need to manage people around you, whether they are business partners, whether they are clients, whether they are your employees. It's all people management. So those behavioral aspects of leadership and those strategic thinking how do I look at the business, the way of viewing things? And that can only happen by the input of others. And one input will be from your team. So your behavior, don't be a moron shouting it here all the time, okay? Sometimes it's that simple. Or just pay attention to me. You don't pay attention. You're only focusing on the financial KPIs. Can you please focus on your people as well? And if you can't focus because that's not your nature, I'm happy with it. But then you need to hire the second person, your right hand, your assistant, who is paying attention to your people, because the people need to be paid attention to. And also, how do you manage and deal and influence people? So this is the two parts of leadership development, starting from supervisors and above. You can't do just only this or only that. These guys are going from A to B, especially supervisors still more on doing the job, so 80 to 20%, the managers 50-50, right? And then as you step into your leadership role, you're not really doing the job, so we don't need a lot of skill development, but what you need is knowledge, right, about the field that you are doing, and then influencing, managing people, communicating, and all that type of skill. So can we please start creating and structuring leaders development this way? And one more important thing, I'm going to make a video out of that, but just to close that with this, leaders need very different development program, because courses are fantastic. I will make a different video of it, but they need privacy in the development because they don't want to be shamed. So that's why I work with leaders. That's why I am the one who is collecting their employees' feedback. And sometimes I censor them because sometimes they are nasty and that's not necessary. And then I talk to the leader one-to-one during coaching. Hey, lovely, how do you see yourself? So don't push leaders into big workshops together where they will be exposed, because that's never going to end well. So the lesson is involve people in their leaders' development, because otherwise, I don't know what the hell you are developing. And now it's too long. I aim for 20 minutes. We are overdue now. So enjoy. And if you have any question, let me know. Links are below. Enjoy.